You know what's even better than drinking a delicious International Delight iced coffee? Winning a brand new car to drink it in. Visit InternationalDelightCarsweeps.com for rules and enter through November 10th for your chance to win a new car plus a year's supply of iced coffee. No purchase necessary. Year's worth of product awarded as product and coupons. Valued at $978.20. Open to legal residents of U.S. and D.C., excluding Alaska, Connecticut, New Jersey, Nevada, Hawaii, Tennessee, and Wisconsin, who are at least 18 in age of majority. Ends October 10, 2024. Sponsored by Danone US LLC. For official rules, visit InternationalDelightCarsweeps.com.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
In 2005, two brothers hit the road to fight monsters. That road has led them to fighting demons, angels, and saving the world.
It's a journey that is taking them to heaven, hell, and back. But they aren't done.
Join our journey as we go episode by episode, following the adventures of Sam and Dean Winchester. We break each episode down with the writers, producers, directors, crew, and actors to bring you the behind-the-scenes stories of how this legendary TV series was made. That guy right there, that's Rob Benedict. He played God and Chuck Shirley.
Hey, and that guy there, that's Richard Spade Jr. He played Gabriel, Loki, and the Trickster. And P.S., he directed a bunch of episodes, too.
Now, while we are insiders, we're also outsiders, because we're not experts. This is our first time watching the entire series, all 327 episodes.
Rich and I have met many of the fans at conventions around the world, and we are deepening our understanding of why you all love this series so much. Because it's really good.
Yeah, it is. Now, listen. There will be spoilers, so consider yourself warned.
And thank you for joining us on this trip we call Supernatural Then and Now. Hi, everybody. This is Rob Benedict.
And this is Richard Spade.
And we're talking about Supernatural Season 6, Episode 5, Live Free or Twi-Hard.
Yeah, it took me a hot second to figure out what the Twi part. I was like, what the
Yeah.
I mean, once we got into it, I'm like,
A lot of Twilight references.
Did you know before, like, just based on that title, what we were walking into?
No, I figured it out pretty quick, but I didn't know right away, no. Yeah, a lot of Twilight references, including, and a lot of lookalikes. To me, that original girl who gets kidnapped and the dude looks like Robert Pattinson and she kind of looks like, what's her face?
Kristen Stewart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like it was, I guess we're so far away from Twilight in the grand scheme of the world.
Right.
That it took me longer to pick up on what was probably an obvious references.
Yeah, at the time, I think, the whole thing was more in our, even then he makes reference to Lautner, Taylor Lautner, who was, at the time, like hosting Saturday Night Live, he was a big deal.
Yeah, and I mean, is Lautner...
I don't even know if he's still in the business.
He's that guy. He's the Richard Grieco of that era.
Yeah.
Had a minute and went away.
Yeah.
What a trip.
At any rate, before we get into it, I want to remind everyone to please follow the podcast on Apple, Spotify, YouTube Music, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Yeah.
You'll get notified when new episodes come out, and then you go there and you press play, and boom, there we are.
And also, I'm going to remind everybody who listens, the new episodes come out every Monday.
Yeah.
Follow us where you need to follow us and get ready for your Monday drop every Monday.
There you go.
Now let's get into the summary of the whole thing. Robert, wing it.
There we go. Sam and Dean head to Limestone, Illinois, where 7 girls have gone missing in 7 days.
Well, at least they're on schedule.
Yeah. Samuel is convinced vampires are involved. This is the 4th town where people have gone missing, and a blood bank.
I got to tell you, this whole Sam Samuel thing is mildly confusing.
It's a bit confusing.
It's a little bit like Sam Winchester or Sam Winchester's in trouble, and we're calling him Samuel.
Samuel. So this is the 4th town where people have gone missing, and a blood bank has been robbed.
Right.
In Limestone, the latest victim, Kristen, I mean, the names are right there, right?
That's right, yeah. A hat on a hat.
She is obsessed with the romantic version of vampires from books and movies. The boys find a message indicating that she went to a nightclub, the Black Rose.
Yeah.
To meet a guy claiming to be a vampire. So they investigate the club and confront 2 suspicious-looking guys. Sam follows one who turns out to be a real vampire that he decapitates. Dean's that he's following is a fake, but he gets jumped by a real vampire named Boris, who feeds Dean blood. That's
Yeah,
what
he
does.
bites his wrist open. It's really gross.
And then rubs his wrist on Dean's mouth.
Yeah, giving him kind of a Ronald McDonald look.
Yeah, it's just like for a second I was like, well, did anything actually get in his mouth?
It's kind of like, Robbie, when you would stumble home with your sundress torn and your, one slingback shoe over your shoulder,
My makeup smudged.
lipstick smeared,
Yeah.
and a fistful of hundreds.
That's right.
And I'm like, what happened to you, Robbie? You're like, none of your beeswax, and into your room you'd go.
Yep, just another Thursday night. Sam witnesses this and saves Dean before Boris takes him back to the vampire nest.
Yeah, he didn't really put a lot of effort into it.
No, he specifically pauses and goes, I'm going to play this one out.
There's a lot of staring at Dean while Dean is in, getting mauled by a guy.
I'm going to go ahead and say he didn't save him. He actually didn't save him at all because Boris kind of left on his own accord.
Yeah.
So the brothers return to the motel. Dean is oversensitive to lights and sounds, and he wants Samuel to kill him, but he sneaks out to visit Lisa. I mean, he even rips out the clock from the wall. I mean,
Oh yeah, he's real cranky about the neighbors making very little noise. I did like the bit where he's like, "You're mighty relaxed, Sammy. I can hear your heartbeat.
yeah.
Smooth sailing in there."
Yep.
I thought that was kind of clever.
Yeah. So he breaks into Lisa's house while she sleeps, and he wants to say goodbye, but the sound of her pulsing blood makes his vampire fangs emerge. He rushes out of the house, not knowing if he can control himself. He even pushes Ben aside as he leaves. Not even pushes him aside, he grabs him and whap into the wall. I mean,
Out of the way, Ben.
not good.
No.
Bad stepdad. Dean returns to the motel where Samuel reveals that the Campbells have a cure for vampirism.
Vampirism.
However, it only works if Dean hasn't drunk human blood. One of the ingredients is the blood of the vampire that turned Dean. That would be Boris. So Dean leaves with a syringe of dead man's blood to confront Boris. Samuel challenges Sam about his knowledge of a cure and if Sam paused to let Dean get infected.
Yep.
Which he did.
Samuel's on to Sam. You know what I mean? Like he gets it.
Yeah. And he wonders if Sam had paused to let Dean get infected so that Dean would lead him to the vampire nest. Sam denies the allegations, but Samuel isn't convinced. When Dean gets to the vampire nest, he finds Kristen writing poetry to lure victims.
Yeah.
And that Dean is meant to be bait for future victims because he's so handsome.
By the way, I did think it was funny in the earlier part of the episode, the teaser, I guess, where the girl, as she's walking with the guy, she's like, "Is there going to be a lot of velvet?"
Yeah. And then he's like, "Sure."
Yeah, sure.
That guy's pretty good too.
I thought he did a good job. Yeah.
Very Pattinson-y, and he was like, he could be sexy vampire, and then he could turn to be kind of goofy.
Yeah.
Too. So Dean tries to stab Boris, but he's overpowered. Suddenly, all the vampires, including Dean, receive a psychic message from the alpha vampire. When Dean comes to, he's surrounded by all the vampires, ready to attack him. He chops them all up, including Boris, with a machete.
With my wife, JC. How did they end up, the psychic message get transmitted? I'm drawing a blank on that. I just watched it this morning, but
They all kind of look up to that skylight.
yeah.
And then they pass out. Everybody passes out. And while Dean's passed out, he gets this psychic flash of visions.
But he gets that psychic flash of visions, but why do all the other...
I don't know. He's like about to die, and then they all collapse. And he gets a psychic vision from the master.
Yeah, that should be.
And then they all wake up and decide they're going to kill him.
Right.
They go back to what they were doing. By the way, the alpha vampire looks like it's going to be...
It's Rick Worthy, right?
Yeah, Rick Worthy.
Yeah. We think, by we're saying that, I know he plays an alpha vampire. Is he definitely this one we're talking about?
I think it
it's just one, I
to,
guess. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's alpha, just that one alpha, you know? That's the way it works with alpha monsters. There's just
Well,
that
it could be an alpha vampire, or also, you don't know this, could be an alfalfa vampire. Could be a vampire made of
Sure.
of healthy grasses.
Yeah, sure. So with Boris's blood in hand, the hunters make the cure Dean needs. While Dean is puking,
That puking is something else, by the way.
No,
That's
that was gross.
that was not TV puking. That was legit.
Yeah.
Rob's come home with a torn sundress, slingback shoe over one shoulder, fistful of hundreds, red smear across my face, barfing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So while Dean is puking, he has visions of his time as a vampire and recalls Sam watching him get turned.
Yeah, he remembers that part, Sammy.
Yeah.
Which also, I got to say this, though. I get that he remembers that, but there's no way Dean could have seen that.
Nope.
That did bump for me a little bit where, like, they have a shot of Sam in Dean's memory, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Dean couldn't have seen that. Dean was facing over here, you know?
Then that wrist was in his mouth. He would,
Yeah.
So he doesn't mention this to anyone, but says he knows that the vampires are building an army. And he gives Sam kind of a look at the end, like, I know you have my back, though, right, Sammy?
You got my back. That's it. But there's definitely like a, why are you talking like that, Dean? Kind of like vibe between the two of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's it, and that's the end of the episode.
Roll credits.
Okay, so we're dealing with alpha monsters this season, it seems.
Right.
So far, we've had the vampire alpha, and we've had the
Yeah, what was the other alpha? He came in the room.
like a Rougarou or something.
He made himself look like
It was the Japanese
shapeshifter. Yeah, he made himself look like Mitch Pileggi.
Oh yeah, that's right. So that's what we're dealing with here. So now,
Yeah.
so I like this ongoing what's going on with Sam.
Yeah.
That's fun to sort of try to figure out.
Yeah, that's cool.
A lot of decapitated heads in this one. I thought that last shot with Boris's head and his foot on his head was good. We'll have to ask.
I thought it was cool, but I will say this: I thought it was an interesting fight not to show us with all the other hacking away of things that went on in there.
I know.
I thought it was a strange fight to skip.
I know. I have to say, I thought I missed something. I rewound and had to watch again. I was like, wait, did I miss this fight? Felt cheated out by that one. But yeah, and it bothered me a little bit. Just the whole like women in cages. That was not pleasant to think about.
I also thought some of another dated thing is like how they react to seeing two dudes kiss in the bar seemed very dated.
I know. It's so dated. I know. Just the whole, I don't know. Just some of that is just, it bothered me. I don't know. You can.
Because it felt dated, right? It felt like, well, look, I mean, I feel like, you want my honest opinion, I feel like a lot of the male-female relationships feel dated in Supernatural in this, what we're watching now.
Right.
Because even when he goes back to see Lisa, it's always like, Lisa is not she's just like, what can we do to help you? Like, it's not like, hey, thanks for busting into the house at the, wee hours and knocking my son around.
Totally.
Yeah. I don't know. It always feels like the female Lisa's just there to facilitate Dean's journey versus having her own per se. But
right.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Yeah. No.
It just feels a little dated in that regard.
Yeah. I think we're a little extra special sensitive in this one because there is a lot of sort of taking advantage of women. And that girl's 17 years old. That bothered me. Why did she have to be 17?
I don't know. I wondered if that was on purpose, like numerically on purpose, because weren't they all 17? Didn't they say they're all shy of?
Oh, really? Maybe.
For some reason, I thought there was something that said.
Maybe that's the thing about vampires.
Yeah, maybe when they're 18 and they're an adult, it's a different thing.
Different
You're
kind
trying
of blood
to get
or something.
Girls or I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, but the Twilight stuff was fun.
Yeah.
So what'd you think? What's your beard on this one?
It's a tough one, man. Before I do this search for a beard, do you know what you're going to do? Do you already have it like?
I don't. To be honest, I can't figure out what my total feelings are. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the episode. And the season definitely feels like it's starting to get on its feet. I really liked the last episode a lot. And it wasn't as good as that. Weekend at Bobby's.
Right.
And so I didn't like it as much as that, but I do like, I like vampire lore. I do enjoy a good vampire.
I liked seeing Sterling K. Brown in the teaser.
Yeah, I started to get excited that maybe we were going to see him. And also, I thought Jensen did a great job of being infected and fighting the urges. I really felt that.
Some of it felt more heightened, stylized than previous episodes, and sort of like the vampire kingdom felt not as grisly and rugged and gnarly as some of the vampire nests we've seen before.
Right.
I know that's by design, but I guess my point is, at some point it was spoofing Twilight, and other times it felt like it was becoming what it was trying to spoof.
Right. Exactly.
I thought Joseph Reitman did a really good job as
he's great.
Second in command. Yeah.
The hair wins the award. It's a great hair.
Yeah, and then the like you said, the other guy who was the Robert Pattinson.
He was great.
And the first
girl,
gal was great.
Girl. Yeah. Kristen. So what kind of beard is this demanding from us?
What kind of beard does this thing deserve? Here's what I'm going to give it.
What are you going to give it?
I'm giving it, hold tight, because here it comes. The beard that I'm designating for this episode is the beard that I'm about to name.
Okay.
And that beard is this.
I got to be honest. I'm looking up vampire beards. It looks like, what's his face from Vampire Diaries had a kind of a beard. He had a little growth. Ian Somerhalder, sort of, unshaven.
I think Ian Somerhalder is a funny analogy. I'm going to go, and I had to look this up. I had to look up a reference like you just did, but it's not a vampire person. I'm giving it to George Clooney, which is unshaved, facial hair, neatly trimmed, kind of a cool, unkempt look. Not really a beard, not a full beard.
Right.
But it's cool looking, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe a little too tidy.
Right.
Maybe a little too, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe too much care given to the beard.
Right.
Like, hey, just let it go, man.
Right.
You know, loosen it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe don't make the beard so pretty. But that's what I'm going to go with. It's going to be the George Clooney, the sort of unshaven George Clooney.
I'm going to give it the summer holder.
Yeah.
It makes sense on many levels. I played a vampire. It's a little bit too nice and, neat and not, it's like perfectly unshaven. Like he's got the beard trimmer set to 0.5 or whatever.
Right. Yep.
So yeah, it's not fully grown in, but hey, he's a great looking guy. Who doesn't want to look at Ian Somerhalder?
He's trying. He's giving it the old college try to have a beard.
But he's trying.
Can't blame the guy for trying.
You think about Kenny Loggins, man. He didn't try. He just...
Yeah. Why are both of us not that... What is it about this episode that we didn't connect with? Because clearly we're both like, meh.
I think part of it, honestly, if I'm really being honest with our listeners, we are just coming off of an epic supernatural convention weekend, and we are exhausted.
Yeah, I know. Our brains are definitely
and
mush.
I slept for, a couple of hours and woke up early and watched the episode. So I think I'm just tired.
Same. But I will say this. It's a step in the right direction. I still think season 6 so far is kind of not season 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5.
No.
Like, I still feel like, even this one, it fooled me at the beginning because I watched it and I thought, oh, criminy, is this going to be this? But then I realized, oh, they're doing a Twilight bit. Got it. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm like, I bought it and that worked well. But then the popping back to see Lisa crap and like all this stuff, it just feels melodramatic in a way the show didn't feel melodramatic.
Right.
The first season 1 through 5.
Yeah. And also I think I'm a little tainted by conversations we've had, like the conversation we had with Mitch when he's kind of like he's like, yeah, no one wanted to see us, and I don't know what we were doing there, so I'm kind of feeling that sort of like maybe trying too hard.
Maybe. I mean, like I do like seeing Mitch Pileggi in the show. I will say this. I don't feel the family connection between the Campbells and the Winchester boys that you feel when you're seeing Jeffrey Dean show up or even Bobby Singer or those guys. Like
exactly. Yeah.
They're still trying to make that work. And I did like, him going like...
I watch Mitch Pileggi read the phone book. Like
100%. And even him going like, oh, you got some Campbell in you after he smelled the decapitated heads. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
They're a colder family.
Yeah.
It's just...
They're cold. Yeah.
And I do like from a creative standpoint, they didn't make it just another cookie cutter Bondy family. Like not every family is all hugs and stuff.
I think that's part of it, and it must have been what similar to what the audience who were watching it in real time thought. I mean, it's the show's in a different person's hands, and it's finding its footing again while trying to still remain the same show. And you kind of feel a little bit of that.
Right.
You're missing the elements that you grew to love in the first 5 years, like you said. That
right. And I know that this comes into its own. I had an awful lot of people this weekend say season 7 is awesome. Like like people say like oh yeah. Season 6 is a transition season between changing of the guard when you've taken one very specific person and you've shifted and that it really starts to come into its own. And I will say, like last episode, Curious Case of Bobby Singer or whatever the hell that was called, Weekend of Bobby's, that was great.
Yeah.
We love that one, and this one. There are elements of this one that I really like. So,
well, it's still Sam and still Dean, and still doing the things. And
I like the way I think Rob Hardy directed it. I think that's right. It's the vampire.
Yeah, who I didn't know him. Who is he?
I'm not familiar with him either.
He's an Australian director. I looked him up.
But his way of showing the vampire perspective. When Dean was like hearing things too much and feeling things too much, I thought he did a good job with that.
Yeah, totally. Like I said, it's still those guys, and we love seeing those guys, and
love the guys.
But it's still supernatural, and we still love it because it's supernatural.
Hey there, this is Jensen. I hope you're enjoying the episode, but we need to pull over for a second for some messages, and I gotta take a leak.
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm. As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
Hey there, thanks for listening. Now, back to the episode.
Hey folks, it's Rob. We didn't record the interview in time to make the episode. However, it will be coming out later this week. We had a great conversation with Joseph Reitman, who plays the vampire Boris. So keep an eye out for that on Wednesday or Thursday. In the meantime, you know what it's time for.
Mythology! 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 Mythology.
All right, so vampires from Twilight. The episode comments on and parodies the vampires that appear in the Twilight series. These are some of the unique characteristics of the Twilight vampires.
I think the first one should be, and it's not listed here, they're all smoking hot.
Smoking hot.
Guy or girl.
Smoking hot.
Gender be damned, they're smoke shows.
Mm-hmm.
So that's point one that I'm adding.
That's one. Uh-huh.
Sunlight doesn't hurt them. It makes them sparkle due to the crystalline elements in their skin, which also makes it nearly impenetrable. I assume that means their skin is nearly impenetrable.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that they sparkled.
Robert?
That's news to me.
Same.
They can be seen in photos in mirrors.
I noticed that because Dean could see himself in a mirror, which I probably knew from other Supernatural episodes already, but I was struck with that again.
Yeah.
They don't have fangs, but their teeth are razor sharp.
Mm-hmm. And a steak won't kill them.
Not one steak a month, but you eat too much red meat, my friend, you're going to have heart problems.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yep, that's right.
They have super speed, which is why Rob's always over there getting his super drugs.
My super weed. And garlic doesn't affect them, so they can have as much pasta primavera as they want.
They go to Stinking Rose and their date's not ruined.
That's right.
They can only be killed by being dismembered and incinerated.
Which is fun.
And lastly, they're all gorgeous.
And they're gorgeous, right?
Really quick, honest quiz, truth. You got to tell me the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen a Twilight movie?
Yeah, well, I've seen bits of several of them. My daughter, Audrey, was way into the Twilights.
Right. I was kind of wondering if that was the case.
Yeah, she was way into the Twilights. And so I saw bits and bobs of all of them. I'll say this about them. The soundtracks are awesome.
Yeah.
Like the music in the movies is great. And I'm going to go ahead and guess that Richard Spade has never laid his eyes on a Twilight.
I haven't, but not because I avoided them. But like my kids weren't the age of watching Twilight movies.
Well, they're just not girls.
They never came up in my house. Yeah,
They're not girls. I mean, because your son is my daughter's age. It just doesn't.
it wasn't a thing. I mean, yeah, it wasn't even on my radar, except for they were pop cultural phenomenons.
All right, we have a funny story in my house. Audrey must have been in 5th or 6th grade, and she had a girlfriend over, and they're watching Twilight. And Audrey had already seen it, and the friend is seeing it for the first time, and I'm sort of in the background doing stuff. And at one point, Audrey goes, her friend's like, "Whoa," and Audrey's like, "I know, right? That jawline, though. That jawline, though." Talking about Pattinson.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So I was on the airplane not that long ago, probably 2 years ago before the strike, sitting next to a lady, really sweet older lady, and I was helping her with her bag. Older meaning older than me, but not necessarily not of retirement age yet, but older than I am. And sitting down, and she just seemed like a quirky, fun lady on vacation in Canada or something. I don't know. So we got to chatting because we were sitting next to each other. And what do you do? What do I do? Kind of shooting the breeze. And it turned out that it was Catherine Hardwicke, the woman who directed Twilight.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So I'm like, oh, you're a phenomenally successful director. I mean, and her incredibly kind, open demeanor would never have made you think this is a powerhouse feature film director. It was a real trip.
Wow, cool.
Yeah, she's really, really, really exceptionally friendly.
Yeah, that's a fun story.
It's a fun story that also happens to be a fact. I wonder if we should follow it up with some more fun facts! Facts!
All right, this is good. So the title of the episode is a combination of the Bruce Willis movie Live Free or Die Hard,
right,
and the 2008 movie Twilight. Twi-Hard is a word used to describe an obsessive fan of the Twilight series.
I did not know that. Did you?
I did not. And it sounds a little dirty.
Yeah, I'm kind of figuring out why would they call it why not like Twilighters or Twilers?
Yeah, Twilighters.
Or
Twi-Hard?
Pattison people or something. I don't know.
Pad addicts.
What do you call it? Pad addicts?
Yeah.
I worked in a California pizza kitchen right after college. And this is before there was Facebook or ways that you would keep in touch with your group, you know? Like now, like, oh, if you worked there, you guys would all follow each other on social media. You could keep up with old coworkers that way or use Facebook. So at one point, I'm like, I'm going to find, there was one person, we were all really close for a year. We were all good friends. I'm like, I want to find the team, especially this one lady that I was really close to, thought she was awesome, a gal from Georgia. Her name is Kristen Stewart. Well, good luck Googling that and finding somebody.
Oh, her name just happens to be that?
Yeah, she's not the Kristen Stewart from the movie. But once you're like, if your name's George Clooney and somebody's Googling you, they're not going to find you. Like, they're going to find George Clooney. Yeah. And there's too much of the famous one to get through to find the comptroller of the local town named George Clooney. Like, so I have no idea where the other Kristen Stewart is, and the internet will never tell me because it's buried in Kristen Stewart.
Of course, it's a blessing for the one you were looking for because
unless she's a big fan of this podcast, and now she's going to go,
I'm right here, Richard.
Oh my gosh, I've been here the whole time.
In your dreams. All right. Hey, give me another fun fact.
Here we go, another fun fact. In the beginning scene, when the young girl is with the vampire at the bar, the vamp calls her Kristen, and later in the alley, she calls him Robert. Well, that has no meaning whatsoever. Hold on, there's more writing here.
Oh.
This is a reference to the vampire-human couple in the Twilight movies that began in 2008. Played by Kristen Stewart.
Oh.
Not my friend from California Pizza Kitchen. A lot of people think it's redheaded Kristen Stewart from Georgia. It's not. It's an actress named Kristen Stewart. And Robert Pattinson.
Pad addicts.
Some of the lines in the opening scene are actual lifts of dialogue from Twilight.
Oh, love it. Love it. Yeah, I felt that way. I got it right. That's why I got it right away because that guy looked like Robert Pattinson.
There was a joke that Jensen made. Oh, yeah. That was very dated, but made me laugh out loud when he grabbed the guy and
Bieber?
The guy took the fangs out and he's like, all right, why don't you bop out of here?
Yeah, that's really funny.
He had what was that band name? The brothers?
Hanson,
yeah. Why don't you bop out of here?
I also thought that he was funny when he was like, I don't know, this helps me get chicks or whatever. And he's like, does that work? He's like, yeah. And he's like, huh. You know, he considers it.
I know. I saw. He's like, oh, go figure. You almost feel like he's adding that to his arsenal. Like maybe he'll run it up the flagpole one day.
Exactly. The name on the fake ID that Kristen uses at the Black Rose is Emily Fang, Emily Fang was a visual effects artist for seasons 5 and 6 of Supernatural.
Oh, that's awesome. Nice.
What a great name.
Nice
I
tip
didn't
of
know
the
Emily
cap.
Fang.
And by the way, pretty apropos for a vampire episode.
Of course, yeah. It's amazing.
The goth bar in the episode, the Black Rose, was shot at the now closed Honey Lounge in downtown Vancouver. It is now the site of the Pint Public House. That's at 455 Abbott Street for anybody doing a tour of Vancouver and wanting to find the set. It's 455 Abbott Street, the Pint Public House. Tell them Steve Hines sent you. See what free stuff that gets you. And I bet you nothing. I bet you a load of nothing.
Huh. All right. The Black Rose.
There we go.
I liked all the extras they had in the Black Rose, too. And he makes a goth comment, too.
Oh, yeah. Interesting episode visually across the board.
Yeah, totally.
Hey, this is Jeffrey Dean Morgan. We are going to take a quick break.
Hey, it's Kaylee Cuoco for Priceline. Ready to go to your happy place for a happy price? Well, why didn't you say so? Just download the Priceline app right now and save up to 60% on hotels. So whether it's Cousin Kevin's Kazoo Concert in Kansas City, go Kevin, or Becky's Bachelorette Bash in Bermuda, you never have to miss a trip ever again. So download the Priceline app today. Your savings are waiting.
Go to your happy place for a happy price. Go to your happy price, Priceline.
Welcome to Sagas of Sundry Goblin Mode. It's a brand new fantasy series that uses tabletop role-playing games to tell an ever-evolving story. Goblin Mode follows a group of underdogs. Okay, more like underlings, who suddenly find themselves the masters of their own destiny. The adventure begins September 9th. Join Geek and Sundry and Realm for Sagas of Sundry Goblin Mode. Listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, it's Jeffrey D. Morgan again. Welcome back to the podcast.
Well, there you have it, folks. This has been our report on Live Free or Twi-Hard.
We have checked another box in the Supernatural laundry list of episodes to watch, and we have one more down as we inch our way through season 6.
Fantastic. Well, we'll see you at the next one.
Where hopefully we've gotten more sleep.
Yes, right. This episode of Supernatural features Jared Padalecki as Sam Winchester and Jensen Ackles as Dean Winchester.
Guest stars include Mitch Pileggi, Cindy Sampson, Nicholas Elia, Joseph D. Reitman, Charlie Carrick, and Elise Gatien.
Live Free or Twi-Hard was written by Brett Matthews, directed by Rod Hardy.
Editing by Nicole Baer. Music by Jay Gruska.
Executive produced by Sarah Gamble, Robert Singer, and Eric Kripke.
The original broadcast of this episode featured the following song, Bela Lugosi's Dead by Bauhaus.
This episode originally aired on October 22nd, 2010.
This episode of Supernatural Then and Now was hosted and executive produced by Richard Spade Jr. and Rob Benedict.
Produced by Stephen Hyde, written by Stephen Hyde and Haida Holscher.
And edited and associate produced by Trey Booty.
What's up, Booty?
Music provided by Tim Wynn.
This episode was recorded with the help of Sonic Fuel Studios.
This podcast is from Story Mill Media.
Follow the podcast on Instagram and TikTok at SPN Then and Now.
Become a member of the podcast to get early access, chat rooms with other podcast fans, and video interviews at patreon.com/SPN Then and Now.
Hey everybody, this is Rob Benedict.
And I'm Richard Spate.
And we are talking about Supernatural Season 5. Nope, we are not. But of course, Steve Hine here has written Live Free of Twi-Hard, which is an interesting alt title.
Story Mill Media.
Do you dig science fiction? Then get ready for the hardest-hitting sci-fi you've ever heard. The Galactic Football League series by #1 New York Times bestselling author Scott Sigler is now a free, unabridged podcast. It's Star Wars meets Peaky Blinders meets Ted Lasso. The GFL is a star-spanning, high-action, high-stakes, coming-of-age story set against the backdrop of a professional football league 700 years in the future. Follow the journey of Quentin Barnes, a gifted athlete who must travel from his backwater system to the galaxy's sprawling empires in his quest to be the best there's ever been. But he needs to watch his back as organized crime runs every franchise, fixing games and assassinating rival players. That's the Galactic Football League series. Search for Scott Sigler, Sigler, wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a co-founder of the Go Kid Go Network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. During her journey, Isla meets new friends, including King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table, and learns valuable life lessons with every quest, sword fight, and dragon ride. Positive and uplifting stories remind us all about the importance of kindness, friendship, honesty, and positivity. Join me and an all-star cast of actors including Liam Neeson, Emily Blunt, Kristen Bell, Chris Hemsworth, among many others, in welcoming the Search for the Silver Lining podcast to the Go Kid Go Network by listening today. Look for the Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.